Hey guys, Romie here, so please like, comment, subscribe, because this is my review for The Quad, Season 1, Episode 5, Mulebone. What was it, Mulebone? Now, Mulebone, whatever. The episode starts off with, it's this back and forth of Terrence versus Sydney. They both go and they discuss, the events, at least the way that they remember them. So Terrence is talking to Coach Hardwick, Sydney's talking to her mother, so that's Eva Fletcher. Now, they both agree on half of the story, at least up until once the party's pretty much over. Now, Sydney's side is, she was there, she was interested in another guy, the guy essentially ghosted her. The guy, he was playing around because he doesn't take her seriously. I believe he was a senior, she's a freshman, or at least she's younger than him, and, she drinks and has a good time, but because of that, she's done the strip poker thing. So the guys, she's close like, hey, Sydney, but they don't really take her seriously. And so the guy that she's actually interested in, he is just like, you know what, he gets her into the room, and he kisses up on her. He kind of tells her some partial sweet nothings, and is able to get a kiss out of her. And he said, you see, that's the problem right there. I like you, but you're too easy. That's essentially what he was saying. Sydney's over it, she goes downstairs, and this is where Terrence comes in. Terrence was there, he was drinking. I'm thinking, don't drink out of his cup, don't drink out of his cup. Because at first I was thinking, Lord, is this some date rape mess? But no, it wasn't, at least not that. So, they were both drinking out of the same cup, cool, copacetic. She sees someone else that she knows, so she's going and dancing with him. She is drunk at this point, so she's feeling a little inebriated. Terrence, the guy that she was really interested in, has another, and Terrence is really, he's interested in a lot of the girls, but, Sydney, it is a weird situation, because it definitely felt like he kind of saw it as, okay, she's drinking, having a good time, but she's a little loosey-goosey right now. I'm going to go and pretend to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, she was drunk, bumped into people looking at her like she was crazy. The way that it happened, it almost made it seem like she was slipped something in her drink. That's what it made it seem like. But we'll give, again, Terrence the benefit of the doubt right now, because she was coherent for a while, and she never actually passed out. So I think, she was just more so drunk. He decides, you know what, I'm going to walk you home. And, they're having, Terrence, now this is where Terrence part kicks in. Terrence is like, we were joking around, and she was like, oh, my hero, because she's back at her dorm, or close by her dorm. So they go kiss, make out, and then she continues, because she's like, you know what, this is cool, this is great. So then they continue on with that. This is where the story gets discombobulated, because how Terrence sees it as, they were kissing, and she was like, you know what, I need to reward you, and that's when they started to essentially kiss, fall into the bushes, and had sex, and he sees it as it was mutual. Sydney, on the other hand, is saying that she kind of borderline blacked out, or was in the midst of blacking out, and so when she was coming to, she was trying to get him to get off of her. So I'm thinking, dang, Sydney doesn't have any defensive wounds, can't we just make this an ironclad case? But I guess that's not going to be the case. Terrence is saying that, after they were done with the sex, Sydney just was laughing and just seemed out of it, so she was a knight in shining armor after having public sex on the college campus. He picks her up and whisks her away back to her dorm. She, on the other hand, is saying no. She was essentially kicking and screaming, but she was just so terrified about what just happened that she didn't even want him to touch her, but she felt immobilized due to fear. And now, once they got back to the dorm, that's when both of their stories kind of commensurate? No, that's not a word. Coincide with each other, and now we have this issue of, they both acknowledged that Sydney was over it. She was like, get away from me, don't touch me. By the time that she got to the dorm, because she was finally realized, okay, exactly what happened. Terrence had made it seem like, okay, she was good up until the point where I guess she kind of passed out while I was walking her to the dorm, and then when she came to, she kind of wanted me to drop her on the floor and just leave. She didn't want me to touch her because, I don't know, maybe she was just embarrassed about what she did. Sydney's saying, no, he raped me. He did it. He knows he did it. And the fact that he doesn't care or is trying to say otherwise is disgusting. You know Eva wants to protect her daughter, so she's saying, whatever it takes, I'm going to protect my baby. That's how Eva is, that's what her mindset is right now. On the other hand, Terrence is telling the coach that you have to believe me. You have to believe me, coach. And coach says, you know what? I do believe you. Or at least I have to give you the benefit of the doubt because I know no one else will. I feel like that's why the coach more so did. It's like, I have to give you the benefit of the doubt. Do I really, really know you 100%? Not at all. And the fact that we find out a little bit later what happens, because mind you, while we were, I kind of missed this part, at the dorm, the guy who was looking at the security tapes and leaked the tapes, he saw Sydney and Terrence. So that's what gave him the idea of, okay, I know what's actually going on, or at least what I think's going on. So I'm going to put a stop to this, or I'm going to at least say something about this because I saw something that didn't look right. And he did the right thing at the end of the day. He did the right thing at the end of the day, at least in my opinion. We move on to, remember the reporter that was really nosy at the beginning? I don't know her name for this week. I'll know by next week. Right now, she's on Bo because she found out that Bo, you know, the reason why he had a charge, and originally I thought it was because of the father. And yes, it is partially because of the father, but not in the way that I thought. Not in the way that I thought. What actually happened was, well, we're not going to go through the full story. Bo attacked his football coach, high school football coach, and because he was technically standing up for this kid who was gay, I'm assuming not out at the time, and again, the nosy reporter, it's like, so, did you do that because you had something to hide yourself? And he was like, you have no idea what's going on. And she was like, okay, back up, I do. Okay. Okay, we cool, bro. I'll back off. Chill. Anyway, Eva, she's with her daughter because now they have to go and do a, what is it called? They have to go and get a rape kit done so that legally they can be processed. Now, the thing is, of course, Sydney wants her mother there, and we're thinking, okay, that's great, that's great. They're finally making amends. They're finally, you know, getting past all of the mess. But you know, when it gets to the sexual history, Sydney says, no, I don't want you to be there. Because we know Sydney, she drinks and she's, you know, had sex. And I don't know how many partners she's had. But clearly, the nurse said, the doctor said, you have a lot of abrasions down here. And does it hurt? It's like, yeah. So how many sexual partners have you had? How routinely do you have sex? So Sydney said, you know, the rape. And said, yeah, but before that, and she basically looked at her mom like, okay, thank you, your services are no longer required, bye, bye. Now, while Eve was there, she notices that Cecil is coming out of the oncology wing at this hospital, and she's trying to figure out, is everything cool? He said, oh, yeah, everything's great. I just came back from the doctor, perfect bill of health. I'm thinking, ooh, he's a good liar. Good liar. And he said, oh, I'm so sorry what's going on. My condolences with you and your daughter. If you need anything. She said, oh, no, thank you. I'm on another call. Thank you. Bye. And you know what? I appreciate the fact that Cecil said that because for some reason, even though he's greasy and I don't like him for other reasons, I do believe that he's not the worst guy. Like, he's not. And I generally believed him when he said, you know, I don't tolerate certain things, like we're not going to go and abuse bandmates, even though I feel like he kind of knows it happened, but he's going to let that one slide, and that's trash within its own self. But the sexual assault, he made very clear. Taking away someone's choice like that, no, we are not doing that mess. Now, Hardwick has to do with the press, and right now everything's going well. They're joking about how the team was trash and now they're doing well, how Terrence is having a stellar year, and then the nosy reporter again comes in. I'm calling her T because I think her name starts with a T. So T, she's just like, okay, so what do you have to say, Terrence, about the sexual assault rape allegation against you from a student here? And they're like, wait a minute, what? What? He's like, I do nothing. I said, Lord Jesus, Terrence, you did something. And now, I'm so glad how they did the scenes were excellent this episode, because right after that, and I was thinking the same thing, we see this circle, and it's this circle of men and women. At the beginning of the episode, actually, we saw a bunch of different women from the cast, people that we have already known, people I think that we didn't really pay attention to or weren't shown yet, and they're all women, and what they represent, it comes in towards the end. Now, during this whole circle, you have some of the guys that are really ignorant, and it's just like, well, you know, Terrence, he's a football player. He can get any girl that he wants. He doesn't have to rape anyone. He doesn't have to take advantage of anyone. And I appreciate the fact that even though Noni's trash, 75-80% of the time period on this show so far, she still has a brain. She was like, hello, no means no. And I appreciate the fact that they were also going through all of the consent. And, Cedric, Cedric's our dude. He was like, something wasn't right about that. No means no. And also, if even if someone doesn't say no, by body language. If they don't want you to touch them or be up on them, then you shouldn't do that. That is their way of saying, back up off me. Go away. Get away. Stop. What are you doing? And Noni was just like, excuse me. So because I say yes, or because we're kissing, that means that, you have entrance to the rest of me. You have entrance to the rest of me, and if I decide that no, I don't want to go any further than that, then I don't have a choice anymore, because I made the conscious decision to say, you know what, we could do this, but we can't do that. That's what you really trying to tell me? No, that's not how this works. That's not how this flies. But there were some other students, female students, who were upset because they're trying to figure out, why is this now being talked about? Why is this now being made a big deal when there were at least two rapes, at least the ones that were reported last year, and no one spoke up or did anything about it? I don't understand how now, because it's the president's daughter, now this issue that's always been an issue gets talked about. And she made a great point. It didn't denounce the fact that it happened to Sydney, but it brought up to the fact that, why did it take someone's daughter who's in power to go and try to create change or try to make noise? Sydney comes back to her dorm, and of course, who's there? Her roommate is there, and the whole thing is, Sydney's over it. Sydney's saying she kind of wants to temporarily move out and be with her mom, and she just needs some space. And Madison gives her some space. And I appreciate the fact that Madison gave her some space, even though they hugged at first, and then it was kind of like, okay, get out thing, without saying get out. Madison, she got the cues. I was like, I'll give you a moment. And yes, Sydney had another breakdown. She didn't go, throwing stuff and destroying, but she definitely had the whole, cry in the corner because she was getting flashbacks of everything that was happening. Terrence is dealing with his own issues with this. The fact that people, of course, are disgusted over the fact that something like this happened, and they're looking at him like, dude, really? Really? So they have these marches going on, protest. Bo, on the other hand, the reporter comes back, and T, she's just like, okay, so this is off the record, I just want to know what happened. And we see this flashback. Bo was essentially in the locker room, football in high school, with this kid who, the coach, the older coach, he was, teasing the kid, not teasing the kid, he was harassing the kid and, verbally abusing the kid. And essentially, at one point, he got so angry, he's just like, you know what, you're terrible at this, you're ruining the team, I knew I shouldn't have brought someone like you on the team. It was like, wait, excuse me? Oh, trust me, people talk, and I know what you are. You're disgusting, and I've had it up to here. And he was about to take a football helmet and hit this kid because he's gay. Bo said, not on my watch. And he went and he yoked up his football coach and choked the life out of him. And that is why he has a criminal record. I said, dang, that's messed up. See, that's the issue. That's one of the issues with the law. Now, T said, you know what? Because Bo was trying to say it wasn't that big of a deal. And T said, yes, it is. What was it? His name, Reggie? the kid who he helped out, online he was saying how he appreciated it and he was able to come out and do all that stuff because of what this guy who didn't even really know him did all of that for him. And the other factor with that was that Bo, you know, he likes him some tea. We already know that. We already see that. And, you know, this is slowly his way into getting over there and possibly, you know, making something happen between the two of them. So it's all good. Oh yeah, because his father was a bully and he grew up in the house with a bully, he doesn't like bullies. So I said, I don't like bullies either, so I get it. I get it. Eva is pissed. She's irritated because she's being told that she can't, you know, not suspend, but not evict. What's it called when you want to expel Terrence? She wants to expel Terrence, and she's being told she can't do that. And she's trying to figure out, well, my daughter did this, and he should be in jail and all that. They said, look, at the end of the day, we have to go through this legally. We can't just go in emotion. And I truly am sorry that that's the case, but this is the case. And you don't have to respect it. You don't have to like it because you shouldn't like it, no matter how heinous the crime is. And trust me, I am with you, but I have to legally give him the benefit of the doubt and at least see this through to the end. Now, the second part to this is that the guy who originally wanted to quit, go to a different school, but said that he loves his college and he wants to stick it out, he was trying to talk to Eva, and I really think it was a sincere moment of, we need to figure this out. I know that's your daughter, so I'm not asking you to do the unthinkable. I'm just asking you to just take a step back. And Eva said, heck no, that's not happening. That is not happening. Bo, he sees T and he wants to invite T out to this little date. Well, it's supposed to be a date to the movies. But he was like, oh no, I don't like you. It's not a date. And then Junior comes out of nowhere. So it's like, hey, Junior knows T. So now they're all going to the movies. We see this flashback of Eva, and we understand why her daughter doesn't like her. Her daughter doesn't like her for the fact that when she was younger, she overheard her mother talking to her dad and say how she never wanted to have her because Eva was upset. She was like, how dare you go out drinking with your friends when I'm supposed to do this big paper for school, and why am I taking care of this child that I didn't even want to have? I said, oh Lord, Eva, what is wrong with you? What is wrong? What would possess you to say something like that? Like, what is really going on? So while that's happening, Eva finds out that, you know what, this situation, it's not going away, and she doesn't have as much control over it as she was hoping. And then afterwards, Bo, oh yeah, actually, I'm sorry. There's one more thing. In the recruiting files for Terrence, that, yes, Coach Hardwick knew that Terrence had a prior sexual assault on his record. I believe it did happen in high school. And Eva was like, heck no! Bo, he's irritated about the fact that, you know, he was supposed to go on this date with T, and Junior blocked him. And T was just like, what's wrong? What's wrong? You like me? No, it's nothing like that. I just didn't like the movie. Yeah, okay. Now there's this party in the hallway. Everyone's drinking, having a good time. And Bo, he's looking at T. T notices him, so she goes behind him. So it's like, oh, who you stalking? Who you looking at? Just no one. I'm just around. So she goes back to her boyfriend. Yes, her boyfriend, which means that Bo, he doesn't stand a chance. Too bad for him. Junior's just like, yeah, T's been with him since freshman year, so sorry that you thought differently, but you never stood a chance if you wanted that. If you wanted that, she was off the market to begin with. She's just the type of girl who's cool. She's cool, she can hang with the guys, and so she does, but it doesn't go any further than that. So, now we have, the scene that I hated the most. Eva, she goes and meets up with Coach Hardwick, and they're at odds. He says, you know what, I judged him based on the character. He wasn't convicted, so I had to base it off of his skill play, just like how you already knew that Bo had a prior as well, and you still passed that anyway. I did the same for him. I have to protect my students, and I do respect that. At the end of the day, regardless if this situation is bull or not, I do respect that. But of course, he was just like, you know what? We're going to be at odds because I can't believe that you would willingly go and do this. He wanted her to leave. She said, no, I'm staying. So he said, no, I'm leaving. And Eva realizes, dang, the only friend that she really had, she lost. Sydney is looking on social media and everyone's trying to slut shame her. And of course she doesn't understand it because she knows she's not a slut. So how is she a slut when she was the one that was raped? Now, Madison comes over and of course, consoles Sydney. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. Yeah. At the end, we see that these women, they have they're united with the fact that they're women and they care about women's rights, and a woman was violated. So we see Sydney, we see Noni, we see T, we see all of them, and they're standing in solidarity and unity. And for an odd, strange moment, I thought that maybe Noni was also sexually violated. I'm going to go on a limb and say that didn't happen, but of course she wants to make sure that women's rights are protected, period. But yeah, that was the end of the episode. So please like, comment, subscribe, come back.